Golden FM 97.5.
All right, good morning, and thank you for joining us on the Golden Sunrise National World News. In the headlines, Serap's use RMAFC over planned salary increase for President Tinubu, others. And CDC alerts Nigeria as Democratic Republic of Congo declares Ebola outbreak. NDLEA busts cartel, recovers 6.4 billion naira drugs from kingpins. Senator Lukubri urges EPC giants to return as deepwater sector opens up, reaffirms Nigeria's investment readiness. Fuel marketers beg President Tinubu to avert Monday strike as Nopang and Dangote refinery disagrees. On the foreign scene, Russia hits main Ukrainian government building for first time. Details coming up shortly. Many thanks for joining us on the Golden Sunrise National and World News. I am Moye Steving, and now the details. The Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, have initiated a lawsuit against the Revenue Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Commission, RMAFC, concerning its proposal to increase the salaries of political and public office holders. This includes the President, Vice President, governors, their deputies, and members of the National Assembly. Last month, Mr. Mohammed Shehu, the RMAFC chairman, disclosed the Commission's proposal to increase, claiming that salaries for these office holders are paltry. Mr. Shehu stated that President Bola Tinubu currently earns 1.5 million naira monthly, a figure he described as laughable for a nation of over 200 million people, adding that the amount has remained unchanged since 2008. But in a statement issued on Sunday, Mr. Kolawole Oluwadare, SERAP's deputy director, said the RMAFC had been taken to court, though a hearing date is yet to be set. He explained that in a suit filed last week at the Federal High Court in Abuja, SERAP is asking the court to decide whether RMAFC's proposed salary increase for the president, vice president, governors, their deputies, and lawmakers is not unlawful, unconstitutional, and inconsistent with the rule of law. The group wants the court to declare that the proposed salary hike for politicians is unlawful, unconstitutional, and contrary to the rule of law, as it breaches the provisions of the 1999 Nigerian Constitution as amended at the RMAFC Act. The National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has dismantled an international drug cartel operating between Nigeria, the United Kingdom, Brazil, Australia, and the United Arab Emirates, arresting 3 kingpins and intercepting narcotics worth over 6.4 billion naira. The NDLEA, in a statement signed by Mr. Femi Babafemi, its director, Media and Advocacy, and released on Sunday in Abuja, disclosed that the operation began on August 26 at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, when its officers intercepted 76 cartons of textile materials bound for Sydney, Australia. Olasupo Michael Oladimeji, a freight agent, was arrested in connection with the consignment, which NDLEA said carried a street value of over 5.3 billion naira. The statement further stated that the NDLEA operators intercepted other shipments across the country. Retired Brigadier General Buba Marwa, the NDLEA chairman, commended the operatives involved and urged continued vigilance under the agency's balanced approach of enforcement and its war against drug abuse advocacy campaigns. The Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has said that the African Democratic Congress (ADC) is yet to comply with the extant rules required for the formal recognition of Senator David Mark on Ogbeni Ralph Aregbesola as its national chairman and national secretary, respectively. The lack of compliance, INEC stated, renders all official documents and communications bearing their signatures null and void until the process is completed. Speaking with newsmen, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, INEC chairman, through Mr. Rotimi Onyekomi, his chief press secretary, said officials of the ADC are yet to comply with the requirements for them to be recognized. Reacting to the development, Malambolaji Abdullahi, ADC's national publicity secretary, said the delay was largely administrative and confirmed that the party made the required submissions to INEC last Thursday. The party has repeatedly accused unnamed individuals of attempts to frustrate its growth ahead of the 2027 general elections and other off-cycle polls. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, has issued a public health advisory following the confirmation of a new Ebola virus disease (EVD) outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo (DRC. As of September 4th, 2025, the DRC has reported 28 suspected cases and 15 deaths, including 4 health workers in the Kasai province. Dr. Jide Idris, the Director General of NCDC, said the agency will continue to monitor the regional and global situations as there are no cases of Ebola virus disease in Nigeria as of now. Dr. Idris, however, urged Nigerians to practice good hand hygiene by washing their hands regularly with soap and running water or using hand sanitizers. He also advised Nigerians to avoid physical contact with anyone showing symptoms of infection or any unknown diagnosis. Additionally, individuals should handle animals with gloves and protective clothing and cook animal produce thoroughly to reduce the risk of wildlife to human transmission. The federal government has called on major engineering, procurement, and construction EPC companies to return, assuring them that previous concerns have been addressed through bold reforms and investor-focused policy shifts. Senator Heineken Lukwubiri, Minister of State for Petroleum Resources Oil, made the call while speaking at the EPC Deepwater Investment Roundtable organized by the OPTS. Senator Lukwubiri, in a statement from Mrs. Nnaemeka Okafor, his special advisor on media and communication, he noted that the landscape has changed and the country is open for business, acknowledged that many EPC firms have scaled down and exited Nigeria due to legitimate challenges in the past, such as contracting inefficiencies, regulatory ambiguity, security issues, and fiscal uncertainty. He explained that those reasons have been significantly addressed, noting that through the Petroleum Industry Act (PIA), government has streamlined fiscal terms, strengthened regulatory clarity, and committed to project security in partnership with security agencies. The minister reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to providing globally competitive incentives for deep-water operations. Under the PIA, these include reduced royalty rates for deep offshore production, ranging from 5% to 7.5% depending on water depth, cost recovery limits removed, allowing companies to recover full development costs before profit sharing, tax credits and allowances for frontier exploration, contract sanctity, and investor protection mechanisms, ensuring long-term stability, the streamlined approvals and shorter contracting cycles, now under active review to reduce delays. Importantly, Senator Lukwubiri made it clear that these incentives will not be limited to the IOCs alone, but will also extend to the EPC contractors who execute these technically demanding projects. Emphasizing mutual responsibility, the minister called on EPC contractors to recommit to Nigeria as well as invest in our local capacity and forging strategic partnerships. The roundtable ended with strong commitment between the government, EPC contractors, and deepwater operators, reinforcing a unified resolve to reinvigorate the project pipeline, enhance local content, and ensure mutual prosperity. The Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners Association of Nigeria and the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria have asked President Bola Tinubu and other stakeholders to intervene in the dispute between the Nigeria Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers and the Dangote Refinery. This comes after NUPENG said on Friday that it will begin industrial action today, Monday, September 8th. The dispute revolves around Dangote Petroleum Refinery's plan to import 4,000 compressed natural gas power trucks for direct fuel distribution to retailers, although the scheme, scheduled to begin on August 15th, was delayed by logistic challenges in China. The refinery said it will kick off once a substantial number of the trucks arrived. But in a statement jointly signed by Mr. Williams Akporia, its president, and Mr. Afolabi Olawale, general secretary, NUPENG accused the Dangote refinery of anti-labor practices that threaten the livelihoods of its petroleum and tanker drivers branch members. The union lamented that Alhaji Aliko Dangote, the refinery's owner, had insisted that new drivers for the imported trucks would not be allowed to join any union. It described the decision as an affront on freedom of association, guaranteed under the 1999 Constitution, and a breach of international labor conventions to which Nigeria is a signatory. The bank recalled that it had held several meetings alongside the Nigeria Association of Road Transport Owners to persuade Dangote to reconsider. However, its appeals were allegedly ignored. Now, you are listening to the Golden Sunrise National and World News on 97.5 Golden FM Yenagoa. Still to come, more news. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. You're still listening to the Golden Sunrise National and World News on 97.5 Golden FM. And now for the rest of the bulletin. The National Oil Spill Detection and Response Agency, NOSRA, has reaffirmed its commitment to transparency, accountability, and collaboration with civil society, communities, and industry players to safeguard the environment and protect livelihoods. Mr. Chukwuemeka Woke, Director General NOSRA, reaffirmed the commitment at the public presentation of Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project SERAP report on mobilizing natural resource communities on using strategic litigation to achieve social justice in the Niger Delta, held in Port Harcourt, River State. In his remarks, Mr. Woke commended SERAP for convening the dialogue, stressing that justice and resource management is both a legal and moral obligation. The NOSRA boss, noting the emphasis President Bola Tinubu placed on transparency, accountability, inclusivity, and environmental stewardship, said they are not just policy ideals but bedrock of national renewal. In his remarks, also, Mr. Kolawole Oluwadare, SERAP's Deputy Director, said the organization is constitutionally empowered to hold government accountable through the courts. He explained that SERAP was engaging stakeholders across the Niger Delta to secure their buy-in and to encourage communities to pursue collective justice instead of fragmented individual efforts. The University of Lagos, UNILAG, has completed a book project on the leadership qualities and governance style of Governor Doye. Professor John Oyefara, Managing Director of the UNILAG Consult, who disclosed this on Thursday during a Katsu visit to Government House, Yenagoa, said the institution has also proposed a public lecture as well as endowing of a professorial chair in the Department of Political Science in his honor. Professor Oyefara said the university had a track record of assessing the performance of various leaders in Nigeria and that the book titled Leadership Chronicles of Governor Doye focuses on the exemplary leadership and achievements of the Bayelsa governor. Professor Hope Gaga, the lead editor of the project, also stated that the idea was an independent assessment of the governor's performance in office, either in infrastructure or human capacity development, through interviews that were conducted. Professor Gaga said the project examined the state of security in the state and discovered there had been much improvement under the present administration. Respondent Governor Doye, who said he was pleasantly surprised about the gesture of the University of Lagos, welcomed the idea of documenting his achievements, saying he had been nursing the idea of establishing a leadership institution to groom those with interest in politics and political offices. Governor Dure bemoaned poor preparations for public offices, noting that this had contributed largely to leadership failure across the country. He said he does not deserve the whole credit for his achievement, as he had in place a dedicated team of appointees contributed their quota to the benefit of his government and the state. The governor approved the proposals from the delegation and thanked them for recognizing him in the midst of others. Moving on to the foreign scene, Kyiv's main government building was hit in overnight drones by Russia. According to reports, it is very rare for Russian missiles and drones to hit right in the city center because of the concentration of air defense in the area. Elsewhere in the city, several multi-storied residential buildings were struck and partially destroyed in the attacks. 2 people have died, including an infant, and 20 others are injured. Russia also attacked Kyiv Ria, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky's hometown, striking 3 infrastructure facilities. The attacks come as Russian President Vladimir Putin warns the West against sending peacekeeping troops to Ukraine after a ceasefire is agreed. And that's the Sunrise National News. But before we go, here is a recap of our major stories. SERAP has sued RMAFC over a planned salary increase for President Bola Tinubu and others. NCDC has alerted Nigeria as the Democratic Republic of Congo declares Ebola outbreak. NDLEA has busted a cartel and recovers 6.4 billion naira drugs from kingpins. Senator Heineken Lupubri has urged EPC giants to return as deep water sector opens up and reaffirms Nigeria's investment readiness. Fuel marketers have appealed to President Bola Tinubu to revert Monday strike as Nupang and Dangote refinery disagrees. On the foreign scene, Russia has hit main Ukrainian government building for first time. That was the Sunrise News. For news stories, comments, and observations, please send us an email at goldengoldingfmyanagua@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok on 97.5 Golding FM Yanagua. The news was edited by Isaac Yedode, and I am Moise Stephen. Good morning and thanks for listening.
Golden FM 97.5.